Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Namo Mahabadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratishe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpataruvesha Kripa Sindhuvya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Bande Shri Guru Dinatayam. Hare Krishna. तो आप सबको याद है, you all remember what all things we were discussing last class? Yes. So we will do a little bit of revision of last class. We were discussing about mind. Yes, anyone remembers? One by one we can discuss. Then
Mind is not good, not bad.
Mind is not good, not bad. Mind is what then?
Magnified,
Yeah. So mind is mind good or bad? What we discussed? Mind is both good and bad. Depends on how we use the mind. This is the first thing we discussed about. It's not about mind is good or mind is bad. How we deal with the mind, that makes mind good or bad. Okay, this is one thing we discussed. And then we discussed about then we discussed about just 1 minute, get stuck always. Then we discussed about how uncontrolled mind is the enemy and controlled mind is the friend. You remember the verse we were discussing? Bandhuratma atmanasta, right? So the mind is the friend of the soul and it can also become enemy. If it is controlled, then it is the friend. If it is uncontrolled, then it is the enemy. This is what we were discussing. Oh, again it became like that. So then we saw the mind acronym. So the mind stands for magnifies problem. Yes, what else? Yes, anyone remembers? Mind starts for magnifying problems. And I stands for imagine. It imagines the pleasures and it neglects the power to change, and then it denies dependence, that you cannot change. This is the 4 things we discussed. What else we discussed? Anyone remembers after that? Yes.
Frozen mind programs the brain, but mind can be programmed through mental vibrations.
Perfect. This is something we discussed, that mind actually programs the brain and mental scripts actually use the medium of ether. You remember how there is the ether medium, and this ether medium actually is responsible for transmitting the mental vibrations. So this is another thing we were discussing. How mental waves, they travel through ether, right? And then we were discussing how the sound waves can actually realign the mental waves. We were discussing about Cladini plate and everything, and we discussed about the Hare Krishna mantra, or mantra. The meaning of mantra is mantra, that which delivers the mind. And then we will discuss about how there are wonderful effects studied on the effects of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Yeah, remember? Yes, so this is what we discussed till now. Is this clear? Yeah. Hare Krishna. So now in today's session, we will discuss about the 3 purposes of Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita, can you mute everyone? So Bhagavad Gita speaks about 3 purposes. Whenever we read Bhagavad Gita, we should understand that there are 3 specific purposes of Bhagavad Gita. So the first purpose Bhagavad Gita speaks about is Sambandha, or the relationship. So what is relationship? Who is God? Generally, we have a notion that we are human beings, or in earth, whoever is present, whoever is visible, they are only visible. They are only the existing people. There is no one else in this entire universe. And that's why we select a human being and we make him Mr. Universe, Mrs. Universe, Miss Universe, right? As if other than human beings, there are no other beings in this universe. So that is the general conception of people, that only in earth there are people around, and Miss World is also a human being, and Miss Universe is also a human being. You see? Huh? Who is a Miss World? A human being. And who is a Miss Universe? A human being only. So the general conception is that the world, this earth that we are seeing, has only living beings, and there is no one else available in the entire universe. The entire universe is vacant, right? So Sambandha means to understand who am I, what is that we have seen already, that we are spirit soul, right? And in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the next section comes is who is God? Does God exist, or really God exist? If God exists, then what is the difference between myself and God? Am I also God? There are so many people, they say, na, everyone is God only. So Bhagavad Gita clearly says who are we and who is God, and what is the difference between us and God. So this is called the Sambandha Gyan that Bhagavad Gita gives. That is me and then God. So I am soul and God is also soul. But then if I am soul, God is also soul. हम भी आत्मा है, भगवान भी आत्मा है, तो हमारे और भगवान में क्या अंतर है? So that is what is the first thing that Bhagavad Gita speaks. The next is, okay, भगवान exist करते हैं, God exists. How does it matter? भगवान अपने दुनिया में, मैं अपना दुनिया में हूं. भगवान को अपने दुनिया में अपना काम करने दो, मैं अपने दुनिया में अपना नौकरी करूंगा. I will do my job. Let God do whatever He wants to do. So the second principle that Bhagavad Gita speaks is about Abhideya. Abhideya means God exists. Some people, there are some category of people, they don't believe in existence of God. भगवान है ही नहीं कोई, जो है, जो दिखता है वही है. The second category of people, this is first category. The second category of people are, they will believe in existence of God, but then they will say that There is no relationship with God. God created something and now there is no relationship. भगवान अपने दुनिया में, हम अपने दुनिया में. This is second category of people who will believe in existence of God, but then they will tell that there is no relationship. But then Bhagavad Gita speaks that it's not just God exists. We have an active relationship with God. God is actively relating in this world. Now, the next question is, if God is existing and if He is actively relating with us, why I am not able to relate with Him? Why I am not able to talk with Him? So that is the third principle that Bhagavad Gita speaks, is that prayojana. How I can attain God, or how I can have a connection with God myself. So the first principle is Bhagavad Gita speaks about existence of God. The second principle is Bhagavad Gita not just speaks about existence of the God, it also speaks about existence of our active relationship with God. Just like it's not that my father exists. I have a relationship with my father. It's not that my mother exists. I have a relationship with my mother. So similarly, it's not that God exists. We have a relationship with God. And the third principle Bhagavad Gita speaks about, how do we experience in our life the presence of God. So these are the three principles Bhagavad Gita speaks, or these are the three purposes in relation with God. If you remember, we discussed that Bhagavad Gita speaks about 5 principles. One of the principles Bhagavad Gita speaks about is God. And in that principle, Bhagavad Gita speaks about 3 purposes. What is, who is God? What is our relationship with God? And how to experience God in our own life. Right? So we will go ahead. Is this clear? We'll go ahead. So the first, some important questions is, does God exist really? Or it's just an imagination, it's a concept created by some people. Or some people say God is a imagination. Some people say God is a concept created to maintain law and order in the society. And some people say God is an energy. God doesn't have a form. He is just a light or some energy. So these are 3 things. And then there are other category of people who do not believe in God, but at least in category of theist, those who believe in God, these are the 3 categories. First is imagination. How you imagine, God will be like that only. Based on your imagination, God will take His form. The second is, God is just a concept. It's a philosophical concept to maintain the law and order in society. This is the second category of theist. The third category is, हाँ भगवान है, एक शक्ति है, एक energy है, एक light है. That is only God. So these are the 3 categories of people who believe in God, right? So we will see step by step, does actually God exist? Okay, scientifically. The second thing, let me delete this pen marking. The second thing is, if God exists, why He is not visible? Why I can't see Him? And the third principle is very important. Can I become God? There are so many people, they will say that by performing meditation, you all can become God. We all can become God. So we will see what Bhagavad Gita says, that can we become God, right? So these are the 3 things today we will discuss. So first is, does God exist? First is, we will see what is definition of God according to scriptures. So the definition of God is generator, operator and destructor. Srishti, Sthiti, Pralaya. Brahmaji says, Srishti, Sthiti, Pralaya, Sadhana, Sakti, Reka. Srishti, Sthiti, Pralaya. These three things, who is the in charge of it? The generator, the operator, and the destructor is God. And we will see one by one about these three principles, about Srishti, about Sthiti, about Pralaya. Whether there is requirement of any God, or whether that really God exists. Okay, so these are the three principles, or the primary definition of God according to scriptures. So generator. We see in this world there are so many architectural marvels. We see wonderful cars getting manufactured. We see sculptures getting manufactured or built by sculptures. So we see whatever around in this world, everything has a creator. You see this pencil which I am using, it's written Apple pencil. So it has a creator. They have put a logo, right? So anything in this world has a creator. The only thing is that what we do is that we create an iPad or iPhone or pencil or camera which I am using, the zoom I am using. We say that there is a creator required for it. But when we see certain things like flowers, you see the patterns of the flowers. If you see in the same bhumi, in the same earth, the same plant, you put, one plant gives yellow flower, one plant gives orange flower. Correct? The same bhumi you put mango, and the same bhumi you put neem, one tree gives mango which is sweet, and one tree gives neem which is bitter. Right? So much of clear-cut order is there. It's not a haphazard creation. So we are saying, some people say that the creation is there, it has, why? The creation, it's not going, just one. So some people say that the creation is there, this creation is having, it has come by chance. You understand? By chance, ऐसे ही बन गया. So ऐसे कुछ बनता है क्या? Can my smartphone be created by chance? Can our camera be created by chance? For creating a camera, for creating a smartphone, everything requires a wonderful mechanism. And in this world, everything is working so harmoniously, so orderly, so amazing laws are working, and it has come by chance. How do we believe it? We see how a small seed creates the entire banyan tree. In that small seed, if you put in the earth, a big banyan tree comes out. No scientist can ever make machines like this. Can any scientist make a machine, make one iPhone and make another iPhone, and then one Android phone is taken birth? Huh? Can any machine be made like this? Huh? Then the husband and wife will purchase iPhone, and then they will make a business of Android phone. They will take, husband will purchase a male iPhone and wife will purchase a female iPhone, and then, so we cannot just fathom how efficient machines are being created. We have till now not reached to that extent of efficiency of the machine. Human machines are so less efficient, so more efficient than what machines we have created. So then अगर इतना छोटा मशीन बनाने के लिए हमको क्रिएटर चाहिए, इतना अच्छा मशीन बनाने के लिए क्रिएटर नहीं चाहिए. You see our eye. I have one doctor, ophthalmologist, is a very senior ophthalmologist in Calcutta. So she comes to our temple. She was telling that this eye, if you see this camera, which which is being operated to use, if I put like this, then immediately the hand is there and you will see my face getting blurred. And if I remove the hand, immediately my face gets focused. So this camera is acting like this. Now this camera takes some time for focus, and जितना वो ज्यादा objects हो जाएगा focus में उतना difficulty होगा इस कैमरा का. But हमारी आंखों का once I am looking here, once I am looking there, once I am looking there, there is no response time for the focus of our eyes. ऐसा नहीं कि I am looking at Subhayan and I am looking at Ritika, I am looking at Anu, Silka, and I am looking at other people in the screen, and my eyes are thinking, oh, now I have to focus on Anu, Silka, oh, now I have to focus on Subhayan, oh, I have to use my focus. It's so immediate, there is no response time. And what these lenses are in our eyes, these are simple liquid. There is no lens only, it's a simple liquid. During the cataract operation, they just replace it with a lens, but it's a simple liquid covering, that's it. Can you imagine what a great design it is? You put only a liquid covering on the eyes and it has no response time for focus. Those who are photographers can understand what I am speaking. It really takes a lot of time to focus. Even autofocus cameras also take time to focus. But our eyes are designed in such a way that they require such minimal time for focus. So that doesn't require a creator. How illogical is this? So this universe is created with lot of mechanics, design, orderliness, mathematics. We will see one video ahead ki how this the universe is designed with an engineering of which is filled with mathematics. Okay, this is just one aspect. Okay, yes, so you can play this video.
That created a very interesting pattern. The sequence begins with the numbers 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, and continues indefinitely.
How many of you know about this? This is a simple series. This is a simple series called the Fibonacci series. Yeah, so it says
each
that,
number is obtained by adding.
So you add it, 0 plus 1 becomes 1, and 0 and 1 are the first two digits of the series, and then the third letter comes is by adding the last two numbers. So 0 and 1, it will become, add kar denge to 1 ho jayega. So the third letter will be 1. Then 0, 1, 1. Then 1 plus 1 will be 2. So 0, 1, 1, 2. Like that it will go. You are able to understand? You can go ahead, then it will show the series.
In the last two
you saw the screen. You saw the screen. I will explain. You saw the my iPad. Then I will explain. Okay. So the first will be 0. Oh, just 1 minute. The first will be 0, and then there will be 1. Then you add both of them. Then the next series will come 1. And then you add both of them again. 1 plus 1, it will become 2. Then you add 1 plus 2, it will become 3. Then you add 2 plus 3, that will become 5. Then 5 plus 3 is 8. 8 plus 5 is 13. Like that the series goes. You are able to understand? So,
Yes, sir.
okay, very good, very good. So, continue the video.
digits together. A rectangle with a length and width of any two of the numbers of this sequence forms what is known as the golden rectangle, a perfect rectangle. A golden rectangle can be broken down into squares the size of the next Fibonacci numbers down and below.
Also, so now it is taking 2 digits of the Fibonacci series and creating a rectangle, if you see, and it is called the golden rectangle. And a golden rectangle is what? That you can break down the rectangle into golden squares, where you saw the video, where
if we were to take a perfect
8 and 13 are Fibonacci numbers. So from 8 and 13, if you break it, it will become 8, 8 square.
Golden rectangle.
5, 5 square,
break it down into
3,
small
3 square, 2 by 2 square, and 1, 1, 1 square. Then it will become all squares in a rectangle. You're able to understand? So from a rectangle, squares are created. These type of squares you can create, which are called golden squares, created from the Fibonacci numbers. Yeah, continue the video.
Squares based on Fibonacci's sequence and divide each with an arc, the patterns begin to take shape. We begin to see Fibonacci's spiral.
So from this Fibonacci rectangle, golden rectangle, you can create spirals, which are called Fibonacci spirals. Yeah.
Well, in and of itself is insignificant. Its importance is revealed in where we find it. Take, for example, the sunflower. The display of its florets are in perfect spirals of 55, 34, and 21, the sequence of Fibonacci. The fruitlets of the pineapple create the same spiral based on the sequence. The pine cone does the same. As currents move through the ocean and the tide rolls onto the shore, the waves that bring in the tide curve into a spiral that can be mathematically diagrammed onto a plot at the points 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, and 55. Buds on trees, sand dollars, starfish, petals on flowers, and especially the nautilus shell are formed with this exact same blueprint. With each segment of growth, the nautilus adds to itself one more value on Fibonacci's scale. This blueprint can be seen around us on a small scale every day. But the greatest
hand also has the Fibonacci numbers in which they are designed and arranged. This is 5, this is 5:8:13, like that. So almost every design in this world has this Fibonacci spirals or numbers, like our ears, the sunflower, the starfish. All these things can be designed and made into Fibonacci spiral and numbers mathematically. Okay, go ahead.
Example of all is directly above our heads. At an average of 100,000 light years across, even the spiral of the galaxies above us are formed with the exact design that the tiny shell is formed. This sequence or blueprint appears to be the trademark of a designer, a proof of a creator, something left behind indicating the one who was there, a fingerprint. As we scan our universe from the tiny flower to the awe-inspiring galaxy, we see the fingerprint of God.
As you know,
yeah. So this is a very special video. I saw it many years before. So you see, the purpose I showed this video is that we need to understand that how mathematically designed in a most organized way, harmonious way, the world is working. When we tell that there is no God, there is no creator, there is no person who has created it, who has designed it, we must think that this creation is not an haphazard creation. It's a very mathematically designed creation. The designs what we see also have a mathematical origin. So that means there has to be a creator. There is no question that it just can come by chance. By chance, what all things can happen? Such wonderful designs cannot happen by chance. So it's not that just the creation is very special. We see how the world is operating also is very special. You saw this time that we put a Chandrayaan on the moon, and how many ISRO scientists were just stuck on the keyboard just to ensure that the Chandrayaan goes and lands on the moon, correct? And then there is cameras from this angle, from that angle, and slowly it has to go. There is upward velocity, there is downward velocity, there is upward thrust, there is downward thrust, and so many people in the control room just to put one satellite on the orbit and to transfer from Earth orbit to Moon's orbit, from Moon's orbit to Moon's atmosphere, and from Moon's atmosphere to Moon landing. Correct? That was the phase. Now so many scientists are working for putting one satellite on the orbit, and how can we think that the planets are floating in air? They do not have any law and they're just floating and there is no person managing them. For making a satellite float, we require so many people to manage. And when we say that there are demigods and there are 33 crore demigods who are managing this universe, it's a mythology. Then you say, no, there are 5,000 employees in ISRO managing all the satellites. No, it is not mythology. What nonsense is this? You require 5,000 employees in ISRO to manage 1 or 2, 10, 15 satellites that India has sent, and you don't require 33 crore demigods to manage all the stars and all. Just because you are not seeing the demigods, just because you don't see ISRO chairman, that doesn't mean that ISRO chairman doesn't exist. Just because you don't see the ISRO scientists working hard to put the Chandrayaan, you are only seeing the vehicle that is going and the picture of the vehicle. हाँ ऐसे ही by chance चला गया, ऐसा थोड़ी ना होता है. By chance थोड़ी ना चला जाता है. We require an organization to maintain all the satellites, to ensure that they are working. So then there is an universal organization also to maintain the satellites. And they are much more powerful than us, that they can send a much more powerful satellites and make them roam in a cosmic level. So we need to understand that the operation in this world is also very special. The creation to special hai, operation is also very special. Going ahead, if you see, just like there is the traffic signal laws. So if there is traffic signal laws, there is someone who has made the law. There is a lawmaker. And similarly, we see the law of karma. If law requires a lawmaker, if someone is there as making a law, then there has to be lawmaker. Then we see law of karma. Someone is born handsome, someone is not born handsome, someone is rich, someone is poor, someone is doctor, someone is labor. If the law of karma is working, law of gravity is working, law of different laws, physics laws are working, then there has to be a lawmaker. We have no experience of laws having no lawmaker. So it's not that the creation is there and creation is haphazardly working. The creation is special. Creation is designed specially. The creation is working also efficiently. So what I said, so first is creation. It is extremely special design which has to have a creator or a designer. And more than that, the operation of the creation is also extremely efficient. It's not that it's not working efficiently. You see, we are creating machines and these machines are not biodegradable. We are creating plastic machines and it has plastic everywhere. There is plastic and there is so much of thought process going on. What we will do with this plastic? What we will do with these tires? There are places in different cities where if you go to Calcutta and there is a place called Dankuni. And there is Dankuni, you will see, I had once gone to Dhanbad from Calcutta in car and I went through Dankuni. My goodness, it's like a mountain only. It's another mountain. Mount Everest getting built up. What this mountain is, all the plastic waste, what we are creating, it's getting dumped. First it is getting crushed through KMC people, they're crushing it, making it one small, so that in a small area you can accommodate more plastic. That's the whole purpose. And then they put it, dump it, and there is a big mountain of plastic. You tell me where God has created such a system that you have things are not, waste materials are not degradable. Whatever we are eating, we eat one apple. Next day the apple comes out in another form, correct? All of you know. And when that apple comes out in another form that comes out, it goes to the earth. And immediately it increases the fertility of earth. And from earth again the apple tree comes and it gives another apple, which you can eat again. Can you imagine? Can scientists ever create such things? And even if we create, we cannot give life to the machines. So it's not that the design is wonderful, the design is efficiently working, including all other factors. There is nothing called waste in this nature. There is nothing called waste. Everything is a part of a cycle and a chain. But when we create, when the scientists are creating, they are creating a product, but they are not able to connect it with the cyclic chain. A smartphone is created, it looks very good, but we do not know what we will do with this smartphone when it dies. But God is not thinking, Arey, Sri Nitai Das, when he'll die, what will happen to that body? I have to create a Dankuni ad for it to dump Sri Nitai Das. Nothing. It immediately, all other materials get automatically mixed with the nature and finished. Just imagine. So it's not that nature is creating wonderful products. Nature is wonderfully, efficiently working also. So a system is there which is creating a very wonderful product, and again the product is working efficiently. It is being operated efficiently. That means an operator is required. So that's the second principle. And the last one is that, okay, we will see one operation of our brain. So we will see this video, how our brain operates so wonderfully. We are telling that what do you say, we have created softwares, we have created computers and all. We will see our brain, the details of our brain. Sometimes when we see these details of our human body only, we'll be forced, like there is a statement, you can show the PPT. There is a scientist called Kelvin. I don't know whether you know this person, Kelvin, Lord Kelvin, we call it. The Kelvin scale and all those things. He did a lot of things in dynamics, thermodynamics also. So this man, this Kelvin, he said, if you, the statement goes like this, if you think deeply, you will be forced by science to believe in God. So this is what Kelvin said. Actually, we don't see, we don't understand things. But if we see and understand and analyze things, we will see how this world, the nature is working so efficiently. It has to have a creator. It just can't work without a creator. It's not possible only. Yeah, we will see the brain, how it works. Yeah. Now with all these functionalities that brain is working, brain is made 75% made of water. Can you imagine? Can anyone make a machine out of water in such a way that can we make a computer out of water? So brain is 75% made of water, and so wonderfully efficiently it is working, right? And yeah, so open again. And we have 60,000 1,000 thoughts a day. So this is just one organ which is created and is working efficiently, which is within our body. Similarly, if you take eye, if you take kidney, when my mother got kidney disease, then I learnt about kidney. It's really wonderful. The way kidney works, the way kidney creates. Generally, we think kidney just filters out the blood. But kidney has so many other functions other than just filtering the blood. So, if we take one organ that we have, it's so amazingly designed. So if the design is amazingly, it's working so efficiently, that means that it has to have a designer and operator. Okay. And the last principle is, it's not that the design is created, it's not that the design is efficiently working, the design is getting distracted and giving room for new designs to come. And the destruction that is happening is also not degradable. It's degradable. It immediately mixes up with the nature, and so that new products will come up. Like till now, scientists are not able to find out why aging happens. They have created something called, they have found out there is something called telomeres. It's a in the end part of every DNA, there is a small structure called telomeres, and every time the DNA or the cell divides into new cell, the telomeres, it shortens, and then वो छोटा होते होते मर जाता है, and जैसे ही वो telomeres बंद खत्म हो जाता है, cell मर जाता है. हरे कृष्णा. And since our body is made of cells only, as the cells division stops, new cells are not getting made. What we happen to us is called old age. Now scientists are able to understand why we are getting old. They are not able to stop old age. They are able to find out, oh, this telomerase is there, the cells are having telomeres, and it is getting shortened, and then it is old age is happening. But they are not able to find out, neither they are able to stop the old age. Similarly, natural calamities. The scientists are able to understand earthquakes, they are able to understand the cyclones, they are able to understand how the cyclones are getting created, they are able to monitor the cyclones, but they cannot stop the cyclone, they cannot start a cyclone. That means someone is doing it, na? Just because I am not doing it, that means no one is doing it. What type of logic is this? And then there are diseases. How the COVID started? No one knows. How the COVID is ending? No one knows. We have created some vaccination. But if we create vaccination, those who have taken vaccination or those who have not taken vaccination, the COVID disease should act exactly in the same way to all machines that we have. Some people have diabetes, but they are still living, and some people didn't have diabetes, they died in COVID in front of my eyes only. And the scientist says, oh, there are some diabetes patients, they are having high death rate. But scientists cannot say, biologists and medical people cannot say that who will die, who will not die. That they cannot say. That means there is some law working. It's not haphazard. So, in this way we see that there has to be a person who is responsible for creation, operation and destruction, and that person is God. Right? So if God is actually existing, why God is not visible to me? So that's the next question. But we need to understand, how much can we trust our eyes? Can we really trust our eyes? We see many things, but we don't believe in them. What are they? We see mirage. We see water in the sand. Do you believe water is there? We don't believe. But we see mirage, we see the water, but water is not there. There is a mirage, it shows that water is there, but actually water is not there. You see mirage, So many things we see but we don't believe. And there are so many things we don't see but we believe. There is 5G network. Is everyone able to see in your room? Oh, I think Geo network is less today. Can anyone say just by looking at the figure in the atmosphere? Yes? Can any one of you go see the air and see, oh, I think Geo network is poor today, Airtel is good today? No, why? So the network is there. The Wi-Fi is there. We are not able to see. So if we cannot see the Wi-Fi network only, mobile network only we are not able to see, what we will see God with our eyes? Forget about that. Can we see soul? हमारे आंखों के सामने, in front of our eyes, people die. And we don't see the soul. We see only the body. Correct? So that means our eyes have a limitation. What is the limitation? First up, there are two types of limitation of our eyes. First is, why it is not working? No, it's working. First is, our eyes have a material limitation. What is material limitation? We can only see a particular wavelength or a frequency of light. We cannot see infrared, we cannot see ultraviolet, like this, so give the AC remote. So this AC remote is there. So it has a particular infrared light it sends from here. But if I press it, I don't see the infrared light. But it comes out. In your home itself, the remote is there. It has a ray that is coming out. We are not able to see. So we have a material limitation. On top of it, we also have a spiritual limitation. What? We can see only body, but we cannot see the soul. We cannot see the soul. You're able to understand? So we have both a material limitation and a spiritual limitation. We cannot see air. We cannot see the infrareds, as I was telling. Our eyes are not designed to see God, just like they are not designed to see the mobile network. But just because I cannot see the mobile network, but I can experience mobile network. Correct? Exactly in the same way, just because I cannot see God, but I can experience God in life. Right? You're able to understand? So we can experience God. We can experience His presence. We may not be able to see Him, but we can experience His presence in our life. Then how to see God? So practice of spirituality helps us to see God and experience His presence in our life. Through chanting, through reading of scriptures, through deity worship, by serving and practicing different limbs of spirituality, we can actually experience God in life. Just like the mobile is there, just like if I may have the mobile networks, but if I have a device, then I can access the mobile network. Exactly in the same way, spirituality provides us with wonderful techniques by which we can actually experience God in our life. Now the next question is what Bhagavad Gita says. We will recite this verse and we will end. Can we become God? A lot of people will say, yes, God exists and you are only God. By practice of spirituality, I will make you God. Do some meditation and you are God. God is within you and you have to realize yourself as God. There was a famous quote which was famous in IIT while I was studying. The quote was this. I will write here. I was an atheist until I realized that I am God. Hare Krishna. Now, since I have realized I am God, I am not an atheist. And who is God? I am only God. It's just on the basis of realization. My Gurudev, His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, also met a person like this. He was, while in America, he was giving some classes. One person raised up and he said, I am God. And my Gurudev said, no, you are not God. Bhagavad Gita says, and we cannot become God. God is different. We are different. We are not God. No, I am God. I have realized I am God. I am the God. And then what my Gurudev will speak. So he said, okay, the class got over. Then he stayed back for the class and he was again telling he is God. So my Gurudev, what he did is that he gave him lot of fruit juices, lot of juices. So then if you take lot of juices, you will get number one also. So then my Gurudev sent one of his disciples inside the washroom to close the washroom from inside. And then he took a lot of juices, and then he got number, susu, jo hota hai na, number one. And then he said, where is the washroom? My Gurudev said, here is the washroom, go. And then he was standing and he was knocking. And my Gurudev said, I think someone is inside, he will come out. Just stand peacefully. And then he was telling, come out, said, don't worry, come out, he will come out. Said, no, come out. Initially, actually, when there is, that's why we call it nature call. Initially, the nature will call, and then nature will shout, then nature will scream from within. So it was nature call. And then he was beating the door, come out, it's urgent, come out, what you are doing within? Then my Gurudev asked him, you are God. You can't control this small thing. Then what kind of God you are? So no, that we will discuss later. Philosophy we will discuss later. Right now it is emergency. Then my Gurudev said, okay. Then he said, oh, open the door. And then he opened the door and he went inside. And then after some time, and then my Gurudev asked him, you said you are God, you could not control your urination. What kind of God you are? Now that was just my Leela, my pastime. This is how people are ridiculous. So we need to understand that there is God, but we need to understand Bhagavad Gita clearly speaks about how we are different than God. Krishna is speaking in this 4th chapter, in the 6th verse. And actually in the 4th chapter beginning, Krishna says to Arjuna that, oh Arjuna, this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita I gave to sun god. Surya Dev ko maine pehle diya. So then Arjuna scratches his head. He says, Surya Dev ko diya? Surya Dev to is much greater. You are born with me. You are of my age, samakaksha, equal. How you give this knowledge to Surya Dev? Then Krishna is telling to Arjuna that Arjuna, you should understand that I am God and I have also taken birth. You have also taken birth. Both of us have taken birth, but you have forgotten them. I have not forgotten it. And then Krishna speaks this verse that how he is different. God is different than all of us. Okay, so we will recite this verse. Ajopi san abhyayatma bhutanam iswaropi san prakritim swam adhisthaya sambhavamyatma mayaya. Very good. One more. Anyone else? Ajopi san abhyayatma.
Ajopi san abhayatma.
Bhutanam iswaropi san.
Bhutanam iswaropi san.
Prakritim swamadhisthaya.
Prakritim swam adhishthaya.
Sambhavamyatma mayaya.
Sambhavami atma mayaya.
Yeah, so Krishna is telling 5 things. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, which is written down, how we are different than God. So we will discuss this 5 thing in the next PPTs. So first is Aja. Krishna is telling he is unborn. Like we see Narsingadev. Krishna doesn't require a mother and father to be born. Narsingadev is born from a pillar. Krishna can manifest from anywhere and again unmanifest from anywhere. God can manifest and unmanifest from anywhere. God is everywhere, but he can manifest and unmanifest. He doesn't require the physical laws to manifest and unmanifest. That's why he says himself that is Aja or unborn. We have to be born with the process of a mother and father and the reproductive process, but Krishna doesn't go through those processes what we go through. Though Krishna also had Devaki and Basudev, but Bhagavatam clearly says that Krishna was not born from Devaki the way we were born. Krishna just appeared in 4-handed form. That's what Bhagavatam clearly says. So God is Aja or unborn. He doesn't take birth like us. The next is, Krishna says, Abhyayatma. His body doesn't get diminished. He and his body is non-different. For us, we have our body and we have also our soul. These two are different, right? But Krishna's body and Krishna's soul, there is no difference. It's not that Krishna has a body and then Krishna has a soul and the soul is entering Krishna's body. It's not like that. It is the same. Krishna has Satchidananda Vigraha. We have soul entrapped in the body, but Krishna's body is also soul. Krishna's body is also spiritual. Right? So it is Abhyayatma. When Krishna was 125 years old in Dwaraka, Krishna was not looking like 125 years old and he was coughing and then there are white hairs and Krishna was always looking Nitya Jauvan. Eternally he looks like a youthful person. So this is the second thing. Now the third thing is Ajita. He is the controller of everything. He controls everyone and everything. So this is a verse from the Bhagavatam. Madbhayad vato vato yam suryastapati madbhayat varshati indro dahati agnir mrutyuscharati madbhayat. Krishna is telling, it is because of my supremacy that the wind blows out of fear of me, the sun shines out of fear of me, the Lord of the clouds Indra sends forth showers out of fear of me, fire burns out of fear of me, and the death goes about out of fear of me. So the third principle is he is the controller of everything. So if one is telling that he is God, we have to say, is he controlling death? Is he controlling disease? He cannot control his death only. So then what kind of God is he? And the next is Adhisthaya. He is the supervisor of the material energy. Durga Devi actually runs this world under the supervision of Krishna. Krishna actually supervises Durga Devi, and according to Durga Devi, Krishna's supervision, Durga Devi runs this world. There is a famous verse glorifying Durga Devi which says, okay, all of you recite, Srishti, Sthiti, okay, Srishti, Sthiti, Pralaya, Sadhana Sakti Reka, Chhaeva Yasya, Bhuvanani Bibharti Durga Ichhanurupam Mapi Yasya Cheshtatesha. So what it says, Srishti, Sthiti, Pralaya. These are three principles working in the nature. So these three principles, Srishti, Sthiti, Pralaya, Sakti, Sadhaneka, this power to do Srishti, Sthiti, Pralaya is given to Durga Devi. And it says, Chayeva Yasya. Durga Devi is just like the Chaya Sakti of Krishna. Chaya hota hai na? If I move my hand like this, the shadow will also move accordingly. It's not that I'll move my hand like this and the shadow will move the other direction. So Brahmaji is telling Durga is like the Chaya Sakti of God, and according to Krishna's desire, exactly how Krishna wants, Durga Devi manifests this world. In Bhagavad Gita also there is a verse, Krishna is telling, Maya adhyakshena prakriti. I don't know whether the verse is there. No, it's not there. Maya adhyakshena prakriti suyate sa characharam. Mere adhyakshata se, supervision se, ye prakriti chal raha hai. So that is what Krishna is telling. I am the supervisor. And then the last one is Atma Mayaya. Krishna's body is coming from his own self. It is not a product of the material energy. It's not that Bhumi, Apo, Analo, Vayu, Panch Mahabhut ban ke Bhagwan ki sarir banta hai. Bhagwan ka sarir Panch Mahabhut se nahi banta hai. So these are the 5 things which differentiate us and God. And we cannot become God, but Bhagavad Gita says that we can become godly. We cannot become God, but we can become godly. We can develop godly qualities like humility, like self-control, like tolerance, like forgiveness, like compassion, like cleanliness. We can develop these godly qualities by practice of spirituality. So spirituality will not make us God. Spirituality will make us godly. So it's not that we become God, we become godly. We develop godly qualities. So the goal of spirituality is not to make us God. The goal of spirituality is to develop godly qualities. What will happen if we develop godly qualities? You can become greater than God. Why you want to become God? Just like the president, he is outside his home and then there is entire entourage and escort, Z plus security. And the same president goes to his home. His son, daughter, everyone is sitting on his head and his wife is eating his head. You know, why you came so late from the office, correct? So who is the controller? President or his wife? So the president controls the home, the wife controls the president. Why? Because the wife loves the president and the president knows that my wife loves me, so I have to get controlled by the love of my wife. Correct? Exactly in the same way, spirituality will make you become greater than God. And God you can control. Why you want to become God? We all can control God by becoming lovers of God. If we become lovers of God, then we will actually control God. We don't become God. Just like president is there, when he is outside he is such a president, but when he comes to family, he is a normal man. Rather, his wife is the actual president of home. Correct? So that's what Bhagavad Gita says. Though the president controls the whole country, he is controlled by the kids, he is controlled by the wife. Exactly in the same way, we can become greater than God by becoming like Yasoda Maharani. Yasoda Maharani is running after Krishna to beat him. Can someone beat God? So we can become like Yasoda We can run after Krishna. When Yasoda was running behind Krishna to catch him and beat him, then Bhagavatam says that just see this Krishna who is God, who is controlling everything of the every universal thing, कण कण में जहाँ पे व्याप्त हैं वो, उनको यशोदा पकड़ के वो भगवान जो सबको डराते हैं. That's what we saw ना in this previous verse. What we saw in the previous we saw na how Krishna controls. We saw na. Just 1 minute, I'll open. Yeah, this verse. What this verse says? I control what? I control the wind. I control the sun. I control, wind is afraid of me. The sun is afraid of me. The fire is afraid of me. This is what Krishna is telling in the 3rd canto. This Krishna is directly telling. And this person who is controlled by controlling fire, sun, God, everyone is controlling. This person who is making everyone is fearful of him, he is fearful of the stick of Mother Yasoda. So who is greater? Krishna or Yasoda? And what should be our goal? To become Krishna, to become God, or to become like Yasoda? And Krishna bringing sleepers for his father. Krishna, I think sleepers spelling is wrong. I think we should note it down. Isko change karna. So Krishna is massaging the feet of his brother. So by serving God, by loving God, we will become greater than God. The gopis were controlling Krishna. The gopis would show Krishna one makhan ka ball and say, Krishna, dance, 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 Krishna, dance. And then Krishna will be dancing, dancing, dancing. Dance more nicely, then I'll give one more ball. Dance more nicely, then Krishna will dance, 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 and then they will give the ball. Okay. This Krishna who is making everyone dance, and the gopis would make Krishna dance. Just see. So, spirituality will not make you God. God is there, we are there. But spirituality can make us lovers of God, by which we can control God. And because if God gets controlled, He can do anything for us. That's why God is careful in giving us His darshan. Because as soon as God gives darshan, imagine to Bikram, Krishna gave darshan. What will happen? So immediately there will be a selfie picture taken, and in the Facebook, today appointment with God. And then everyone is putting likes and likes. Oh, Bikram has met God, Bikram has met Krishna, Bikram, just see the Instagram, just everyone. So we will use God to encash our fame, correct? Encash fame from Him. So until unless our heart is fully purified, Mirabai didn't love Krishna because she wanted to become famous. Yes? It's not that Mirabai wanted that her name will go down in the history as the greatest devotee of Krishna. Everyone should be knowing about her, and that's why she was loving Krishna. No. The gopis didn't want to become famous. That's why they were loving Krishna. Yasoda didn't want to become famous, nor any of the devotees. Until unless we have this tendency always to advertise our devotion. And so long this tendency is not completely gone, Krishna will never give his darshan to us. So we have to completely get rid of our tendency to advertise. Then Krishna will give his darshan to us, he will give his vision to us, he will give his experience to us. So that's what our dharma is, to love God. And by loving God, we can become greater than God. So by becoming godly, we can actually develop wonderful qualities by which we can control God. Right? So we need to understand, today we discussed that we first discussed that there is God and definition of God. God is the generator, God is the operator, and God is the destructor. And we saw that how all these three things, creation, maintenance and destruction in this world, are working specially, uniquely, and it is also working efficiently. And when anything has to be uniquely designed, efficiently designed, it always requires a person or a creator. And that person is God. And the next thing we discussed was why we are not able to see God. Why we are not able to see Him? Because our eyes are anyway limited to even see material things. We are anyway limited to see material things. What we will see spiritual? Forget about God, we are not able to see soul. We cannot see even soul. What we will see? The super soul, God. So this is second thing. And the third thing, some people say that you can become God by practice of spirituality. So we saw that how we can never become God. Bhagavad Gita says that God is different, we are different, but we can become godly. And we become lovers of God. And by becoming godly, by becoming lovers of God, we will become greater than God. Just like a wife controls the president, even if the president is a big man. Similarly, we can control God by love and become greater than God. How Yasoda controlled, the gopis controlled, Nanda Maharaj controlled, the friends of Krishna controlled, Pandavas controlled Krishna. So in this way we can control God and become greater than God. Okay? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Yes, anyone has any question, we can discuss.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, as per Mahabharat, Krishna ji had died.
Yeah.
So, since his body and soul were one,
Yeah.
he is a god. So, what happened after that? And it is said that his heart kept burning and it is still there in Puri, in Jagannath.
No. I am from Jagannath Puri only. Jagannath, that what is there inside Jagannath's body is the Saligram Sila, right? These are all being spread like this. There is the Saligram Sila is there. One Saligram Sila is inside, and it's not about anything heart, or there is no scriptural reference of what you are speaking that Jagannath ke andar wo jalta raha. There is nowhere written. I have read Mahabharata, I have read Bhagavatam also. Bhagavatam also describes elaborately about Krishna's disappearance. Krishna just disappeared, and many of the demigods, Brahma and Lord Shiva, could see how Krishna is going in the chariot back to his abode. But there is no description of this burning and all. This is just, what do you say, business propaganda to just create a sensation. Okay, आप भी आओ, मंदिर आओ, हमारे मंदिर में कृष्ण द्वारका का भगवान का वो हो गया. So that is just a no problem. It's not that Jagannath ji doesn't have. He has a Saligram Sila within. But that is nothing connected with Krishna, that Dwaraka Leela, that pastime, disappearance pastime. That is nothing related to that. It is incomplete truth. Something they are telling is proper, some things which are cooked up. That's the thing. Okay.
So finally he died.
Yeah. So you can say that he disappeared. Died means Krishna doesn't die, just like sun. You can say sun died, but the sun disappeared from our eyes because the sun never dies. It is just in some other place, right? So exactly in the same way, Krishna appears and disappears. He doesn't die. We do not have, there was no body to be burnt. There was no body that got burnt. So then how it is died? He just disappeared. There is nothing, nowhere remaining, nothing is remaining. And then the Jara, and that Jara who was killing, he was very very upset that my arrow se wo Bhagwan gujar gaye. Krishna told Jara ki my body is abhyaya, your arrow cannot kill me, otherwise there are so many arrows these warriors have put on me, I would have much before only died. So you go back to Nilachal, and in Nilachal you stay. I will come in my deity form as Neelamadhav. And from there he comes to Dwaraka to Neelamadhav, right? So when he comes to he worships Neelamadhav in Jagannath Puri, in Nilachal. And then that all those stories that comes. So, but there is no connection of that ood ke andar wo hai, that is something, right?
And Prabhuji, since we cannot see God, but when we pray, so we have in our imagination that picture is there. So this is how Krishna would appear. This is how Ramji would appear.
Yes.
So if we dream about them, so what is the meaning of that? In dreams, sometimes we see a God appearing and giving us some messages, saying something.
Yeah, that's true. So though God we cannot see, but God himself has described his forms, and when God comes as avatar, we see his form. So based on that, the scriptures are written how God looks. God has a Kamala Nayan, he is very beautiful, he has a blue hue of his body and all. So based on the scriptural representation of God, authorized representation of God, if we see in dream something, then it is proper. But if we see in dream, God is there with a big beard, and then he was walking like this because he's an old person and he is speaking to me, that is improper. So there is proper, there is improper. There is actually authorized, not authorized. So authorized representation of God is given in Bhagavad Gita, given in other Puranas, in other places. So based on that, if we imagine we see some dreams, then it is fine, no problem. If in our dream Krishna is coming, Ram is coming, actually the form of the Ram, like in Ayodhya they made Ram. So actually Ram looked like this, right? So it's not that the sculpture is just making from his imagination something. No, then there are scriptures which are written, Ram kaise dikhte the and Krishna kaise dikhte the, and based on that we are making it, right? So if Ram comes the way Ram is in our dream, then there is no problem. But Ram comes in our dream who is with a big beard, and and we say that Ram ऐसे ही हैं, मेरे मन के राम तो ऐसे ही हैं, ऐसे थोड़ी ना होता. Ram is Ram. You cannot say Anu Silka is मेरे मन के Anu Silka ऐसे है, थोड़ी ना ऐसा है. Anu Silka is Anu Silka, the way she looks. So similarly, Ram, Krishna has a form. So based on that appropriate form, if we have dream, then there is no problem. This answers your first question. Now the second question is, imagine we get some message from God. So if we get some message from God, we should have Guru in our life to reconfirm that whether this message is proper or not proper for my spiritual life. So otherwise we will make our mind only as Guru. Our mind will cheat us. Our mind will show some images and say, oh, dekho, now God is telling to you, you must do it. There are so many saints, even in front of eyes. My 19 years of experience in ISKCON also, I am telling you, so many people came to ISKCON and they got some dream. Krishna is telling me like this, and then they left ISKCON. Where they are neither practicing spirituality, they are neither following any principle. Ho gaya unka. So we should understand that our dreams also have value, but it should be confirmed by saints, by gurus, and then we should start executing it. Otherwise, we may get cheated by our mind, because our mind is not fully pure. It is in the process of purification. Yeah, okay? Hare Krishna, yeah. Very good. Yes, who else? There are some questions in the... yeah. Just 1 minute, one by one. This Udichi is telling, then Monimala, then Nirakar. Like that. We'll go like this.
Can I chant on Tulsi Beej initially?
Okay, so can we chant on Tulsi beads? No, we cannot chant initially on the Tulsi beads. We can start with neem or bale or those type of wood beads, and then when we after some time chanting, then we can start chanting with Tulsi beads. For chanting in Tulsi beads, we need to completely stop eating non-veg and also even from onion and garlic. That is, there are some qualification to chant chant the Hare Krishna mantra in Tulsi beads. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Bol, Hare Krishna. Yeah. Yes, Monimala Mataji. Yes, speak. Ask the question. Monimala Mataji. Okay, he's not there. Nirakar. Yes. Oh, okay. Yes, ask.
Can I, Prabhuji?
Please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat.
Dandavat.
Prabhuji, as we all know that controlling power is a negative word, negative quality.
Yes.
Then why should we control God? We are very happy that God is controlling us.
So God is controlling us is beginning of spiritual life. We are controlling God is end of spiritual life. That's what we want to achieve. We want to control Krishna. But not...
No, why this desire, this type of desire should not be there, no, Prabhuji?
Yeah, this type of desire we do not have, but this will happen. This is out of love. And why we want to control God? To serve God. Like Krishna will start going without taking breakfast to the forest of Vrindavan. मैं जा रहा हूँ. And then Yasoda Maharani will start shouting, खाना खा के जाना है. So just like a mother is controlling the son, correct? Shouting, yelling, screaming. So it is out of love and it is good for the child. So exactly. So we want to control Krishna for serving Krishna more better way. It's not that we want to control Krishna to trouble Krishna. We want to control Krishna to serve Krishna. So in the beginning of our spiritual life, we see Krishna or God as our father, mother, protector, maintainer. That is beginning of our spiritual life. But spiritual life ends, culminates when we become father, we become mother, we become lover of God. You're able to understand? It begins how? कि भगवान तो सब मेरे को दे रहे हैं. नहीं, भगवान क्या देंगे? मैं भगवान को खिलाऊंगा. मैं खिलाऊंगा नहीं तो भगवान खाएगा ही नहीं, भूखा मर जाएगा. So this is end of spiritual life. So we should understand that spiritual life begins कि भगवान मेरे को खिला रहे हैं, भगवान अन्न दाता है, भगवान मेरे को खिलाते हैं, भगवान ही तो मेरे को सब कुछ दिए हैं. It is very good sentiment to begin spiritual life. But as we go ahead in spiritual life, we must understand, yes, Krishna is giving me everything. But I have to serve Krishna. If I don't offer bhoga to Krishna, I do not love Krishna, then what Krishna will do? I have to love Krishna. I am a lover of Krishna. Like that. समझ में आ रहा है?
नहीं, Prabhuji.
So we are not controlling God to trouble God.
That means, Prabhuji, मतलब बहुत सेवा कर रहे हैं, फिर after some time we want something.
No, we don't want something. We want to control God just to serve Him and love Him more better way.
Okay.
We do not want to control God to trouble Him. We want to control God to love Him, serve Him nicely. Okay?
Okay, Prabhuji.
Okay, Haribol. Yes, Nirakar ji, and then we'll end. Hare Krishna, you are there?
Prabhuji, Dandavat.
हाँ, Dandavat.
Prabhuji, I have a question on chanting, the process of chanting. While chanting Hare Krishna mantra, one is to fully focus on the sound of vibration on our own ear. But while chanting, sometimes my mind wanders to some other, like some image of God or some temple, like the lovely...
Sometimes or every time? If it is sometime, then you are a great soul.
Like Babuji, apart from hearing the vibration of my own sound, non-sound, that time sometimes my mind wanders to some of the Krishna's image or some other, not same thing as spiritual things, but I am not able to focus on the full sound vibration. What is the correct way to start chanting?
Yeah, correct.
Either to fully focus on the sound or to fully imagine
understood.
The mind wanders to all images of God or something.
Yeah. So mind, its nature is, Krishna is telling in, Arjuna is telling in Bhagavad Gita, chanchalam. This is a word that is used to describe mind. Chanchalahi manaha Krishna pramati balavadridham tasyaham nigraham manye bayur eva suduskaram. You find out the verse number? Bhishma will find out the verse number. Actually, I remember the verse, but not the verse number. Chanchalam hi manha Krishna. It comes in the 6th chapter. So, mind is chanchal. Mind is flickering. Mind will go here and there. This is how the mind is. So, we are not trying to change the nature of the mind. Mind will go and here and there. So, what Krishna is telling is, yato yato nischalati. Wherever the mind wanders, you bring back the mind to the vibration. So find out these two verses. One is chanchalam hi manha Krishna pramati balabadrudham tasyaham nigraham manye vayuriva suduskaram. This is Arjuna is telling. Yeah. Yeah, so this verse is 634. This 6.34. You can read from Bhagavad Gita. If you open 6.34, chanchalam hi manha Krishna pramati balabadrudham. So this is 34, and then I think yato nischalati. I'll just find out the next. I don't know which number is. It's all from the yato nischalati. Yeah, this is 6.26. So these two verses you can refer. In the 6.26 verse, Krishna is telling that wherever the mind wanders, bring back to it. So even if the mind wanders to some chubby of the Lord and all, that is also not appropriate. We just have to hear. So if your mind wanders and seeing some Krishna form, bring it back to hear the vibration. And in the beginning, it is very important that we keep the Hare Krishna mantra in the front. You keep the Hare Krishna mantra in the front and just read the mantra. That will help you to concentrate more on the sound vibration. Patanjali Yoga Sutra, this is called Tratak Vidhi. Patanjali says that by seeing the object, what you want to meditate on. We are trying to meditate on the sound of Krishna, Hare Krishna. So you see the Hare Krishna letters and read it. It will help you more in concentrating on the sound vibration. But mind will wander. Don't worry about it. Bring it back. Even Krishna is telling in Bhagavad Gita, mind will wander. So he is the best authority for mind. So don't worry about something which is anyway going to happen. So mind is going to wander. Okay? Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. As per one of the words, Krishna is the supervisor and Ma Durga has been given the task. But we also know that Lord Brahma is related to creation, Lord Vishnu is related for maintenance, and Lord Shiva for destruction. Are we missing something here? No. So creation happens in, this is a very nice question. I don't know if someone has asked. So creation happens in, I think there is a lot of, less time is remaining. So creation happens in different phases. So the first creation is done by Mahavishnu. The second creation is done by Vishnu and the material energy. The third creation is done by Brahma. Right? So Brahma is the secondary creator. He is not the primary creator. So there is something called Sarga, which is creation. And then there is something called Visarga, which is secondary creation. Right? So the Visarga is done by Brahma. So the material energy, Durga Devi does two things. The first thing is that Durga Devi is the supervisor of all the material elements. So she is the supervisor of the elements. Like ब्रह्मा जी को क्रिएशन करना भी है, उनको तो सामग्री चाहिए ना, है कि नहीं? जैसे ग्रोसरी शॉप में सामग्री देगा ग्रोसरी शॉप वाला, तब ना कोई किसी की पत्नी घर में कुछ बनाएगी. आटा ही नहीं है, कुछ ही नहीं है, तो कैसे होगा? तो मटेरियल एनर्जी दुर्गा देवी फर्स्ट गिव्स द इंग्रेडिएंट्स टू ब्रह्मा. He creates the framework, the system. Like Brahmaji was meditating, and then he was thinking, अगर मैं एक मशीन ऐसे बनाने लग गया, भागवतम says, अब मैं अपना chanting कब करूंगा? When I will do my chanting, when I will do my own things, खाने के लिए भी समय नहीं है मेरे पास, तो एक शरीर बनाना है तो. And from Brahmaji's this side, one male came out. From this side, one female came out, and then male female started uniting and creating further bodies. And then Brahmaji was relaxed. Oh, now I have no job much. The male and female, they will replicate themselves. So this framework of male and female, this Brahmaji has not created. This Durga Devi has created. And who has given the intelligence and supervision to Durga Devi? This Krishna has given. So Brahmaji is just a secondary creator. He is not the framework creator. The framework is Maya's framework, Durga's framework. Brahmaji is handling the framework. Like for example, we are having this Zoom. This Bhisma is handling the Zoom, by which we are able to see. Have we created the Zoom? No. The Zoom software person has created. We have taken a subscription and using the Zoom. So that is Durga Devi and Brahmaji. I am like Brahma and Durga is like Zoom person who has created. So like that. So Brahmaji takes a subscription. I want to create something secondarily, and he uses the Zoom and create like that. Just like there is software, Photoshop, Illustrator, video making software. So the video making software is created by Maya Devi, Durga Devi. Now using the video making software, I create a video and put it in YouTube. That is Brahma. You're able to understand the difference between Brahma and Durga, right? But the knowledge to create the software, the algorithm of the software, how to code the software, ये कृष्ण ने दिया दुर्गा देवी को. सॉफ्टवेयर जब माल फंक्शन करता है, बग्स होता है, उसको क्या करना, कैसे हैंडल करना, वो भगवान हैंडल करते हैं. That's why Krishna comes अवतार. यदा यदा ही धर्मस्य, जब सॉफ्टवेयर माल फंक्शन होता है, कृष्ण comes down and then deletes the bugs of the software. You're able to understand? I hope this example is clear. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. So next week will be the last class, I suppose. After that, we'll have a small assignment which all of you have to fill up. And based on the assignments and how you fill it up, then we'll have our advanced Bhagavad Gita course, where we'll be discussing further other topics of Bhagavad Gita, demigods, personal and impersonal God, and all those other topics which are remaining. These are all the basic things. So what we discussed in this course. So I will give a small assignment. You do not have to spend much time on it, but it will evaluate your knowledge, what you have acquired. All the classes, I think, is put in the YouTube. I'll also share the PDF of all the PPTs, and we'll give you 1 week time so that you can little bit prepare, and we'll have a little bit of evaluation, and then we'll give you certificates for this course. And then those who want to register for the advanced course, you can register, where we'll discuss a little more elaborately some other topics of Bhagavad Gita, which we didn't discuss in this course. Okay, so that's how we'll go ahead. Yes, Bikram? So make a message out of it and put it in the WhatsApp group. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad Gita participants ki jai, Bhagavad Gita basics course ki jai. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.